okay, I don't own a PlayStation 5, and I used to really like PlayStation. I had a PlayStation 2 way back when, and I had a PlayStation 3. And Sony should be trying to sell to someone like me, because I'm someone who really cares about gaming. And I used to really like PlayStation. So I should be at least one of their demographic targets. And I decided to kind of analyze the PS5 from this kind of perspective. So if you look at, this is not necessarily a complete list, but it's a list of PlayStation 5 games, and I went through it, and part of my reasoning was what looks interesting, like what kind of catches my eye, or what are games that I cared about. Because a lot of people don't do comprehensive research before they buy a console. It's about sort of just seeing, is there like enough that catches the eye, that seems interesting to me, that makes me want to buy a video game console. So I went through this list. This is a list of 723 games. Some of them aren't technically released yet, but that's sort of insignificant. I'm asking if, can this sell me a PlayStation 5? So out of these 723 games, I found about 21 or 22 games that seemed kind of interesting to me. And I'm going to go through them and make a few points. So one of them was Neptunia, a reboot game. No More Heroes 3. I'm pretty sure this is for a remake of the original Shantae game, because there's been re-releases of it. I'm kind of curious about the next Sonic Generations game. So, Stellar Blade. The Tomb Raider remastered. This Tomb Raider used to have a sort of iconic association with Sony. Visions of Mana, I'm curious about, at least. I don't know if the game's any good, but I'd probably be willing to risk sort of impulse buying it for a new console. So Armored Core 6, I used to be really, really into Armored Core. And 6 was very well received. Astrobot, everyone's talking about that. Like, I would potentially impulse buy that. Axiom Verge 2, I know the first game was fun. I would consider impulse buying that. Control, for the most part, is actually a decent game, despite certain, I would say, creative decisions that don't really pan out. Cyberpunk, it interested me ever since they announced it, and I know it became kind of a wreck, and it's a game I have really mixed feelings about. But if I hadn't already played it, I'm saying I would see this and it would catch my eye, and I would consider impulse buying it. So Dave the Diver, I know, has certain mechanics in it that I kind of like. This is a redirect from Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, so it's talking about Sparking Zero is going to be on the PS5, but it's associating it with the Budokai Tenkaichi series, which it's technically debatable. It's at least a spiritual successor, but we don't know yet because it's not out yet. Okay, DBZ Kakarot, I think for the most part it's a decent game, and I was interested in it before it released. This is for the Dragon Quest III remake. Again, if I saw it advertised to me and I didn't know too much about it, I would probably impulse buy it. So Elex 2, I heard a lot of good about the first game, and I might impulse buy it. Elden Ring, I've yet to play, but I think I'm generally curious enough about it. It's one of those things I'm kind of on the edge buying. Skyrim is a game I know I like, and I would impulse buy if I didn't already own it. Fallout 4 is a game, it's okay mostly, and I'd probably impulse buy it. I wouldn't say it's not really good at being a Fallout game, but I shouldn't get into all that. Ghost of Tsushima, I've heard certain things about, and I'd probably impulse buy it. Everyone loves the Metro series. I'm pretty sure Exodus was well enough received, and I'd probably want to impulse buy it. Okay, so those are the games. So if we go through all the games, the first Neptunia multi-platform release, I'm pretty sure it's on PC. No More Heroes 3, it's not an exclusive. Shantae is released on everything. Pretty sure this comes out on everything. Stellar Blade is an exclusive for now. Rumored PC release, but I'm going to say that's in its favor. Tomb Raider Remastered, it's on everything. Vision of Mana is pretty much on everything. Not on Switch, I guess. Armored Core 6, it's pretty much on everything, but not on Switch. Astrobot, I think it was rumored to have a PC release, but I haven't been paying attention to it too much. But I'm willing to put this in its favor like Stellar Blade. So Axiom Verge 2 is basically on everything they can release it on, because it's sort of an indie game. Control is pretty much on everything. Cyberpunk is pretty much on everything they can get away with. I'm sure Dave the Diver is basically on everything. Sparking Zero is on everything they can manage to release it on. Same with Kakarot, but Kakarot is also on the Switch. Dragon Quest 3, I'm sure it's coming out on pretty much everything. I think even the Switch. Elex 2, it's everything but the Switch, which isn't a surprise. Elden Ring, basically everything but the Switch. Skyrim, pretty much everything. Fallout 4, everything but the Switch. Ghost of Tsushima is at least on PC. And Metro Exodus is on pretty much everything but the Switch. So if we're talking about like exclusives, it's what I'm willing to put in its favor is Stellar Blade and Astrobot. So so then you have to ask, why would I buy a console? Why would I want to get a PlayStation 5 anyways? Because is there a reason? Like, what does the PlayStation 5 offer me that no other platform offers me? Or just comparing it to a PC directly, what can I get on PlayStation 5 that I can't get on a PC? What is the advantage? The obvious advantage that I would think of is physical games. Consoles tend to have physical games. So then we come to this problem now. Like Steam, you never know when Steam could go away. You never know when GOG could go away. And if you aren't paying attention enough, you could lose access to everything because they have to shut down their servers. And you don't have enough time to download stuff and back it up locally. Because they might allow you to do that before they officially completely shut down either company. Not to say that they aren't being healthy, but, you know, worse comes to worse, and those companies have to shut down for whatever reason. You would pretty much lose some access to your games because you don't have physical copies. So, an advantage to consoles, more than anything in my opinion, would be physical copies. Okay, they announced the PlayStation 5 Pro, and it's digital only. And I know this says 700 pounds, but I think it's also 700 USD. And so I look at this and I think, why would I care about PlayStation more than any other option when most games that I find are on everything? And then what pushes me away from Sony, what pushes me away from PlayStation, is they constantly try to censor things to not offend the modern audience. And games that aren't censored on the Switch, for example, the most family-friendly company, Nintendo, are censored on PlayStation. So why would I don't see any kind of selling point. Why would anyone buy a PlayStation 5 Pro? What do they have that nobody else has? This is what their problem is.